Everybody make some noise for Joan Pascalazza!
Look inside your tiny mind and look a bit harder. 'Cause we're so uninspired, so sick and tired of all the hatred you harbor. So you say it's not okay to be gay, well I think you're just evil. You're just some racist who can't tie my laces. Your point of view is medieval.
I think like the very first time it's kind of exhilarating because it was a very new experience. Like you really take on a whole new mindset when you do something like that. When you sit down to start, you look one way, and then when you finish looking completely different. And so there's this completely dramatic change, and it's not just visually, but it just brings something out in you.
So I started with my first open mic night, I guess you could call it. Did my first little joke, and that went over well, and it was kind of like, oh, this is kind of funny. People were laughing. I kind of like this. It was empowering in a way. Biggest disappointment for me is if I didn't get heckled, because I would feed off that energy and develop a dialogue with the audience. And I've always had as my own personal motto that it's not a right to be on that stage, it's a privilege. So if you don't give something back, or give something to begin with, you don't really have any business being up there. But that's just me.
I like doing it more for putting a smile on people's faces. That's gives me enjoyment that, hey, just them looking at me is brightening their day. I just love that.
Yeah. It's very, very rare that we get a negative reaction from people. We always make people laugh, we make people smile, roll their eyes, whatever. There's more positive than any negative to it, and we just have so much fun.
It's probably, in my opinion, one of the broadest forms of art because anything goes. Like there's no rules, there's no guidelines, there's no one telling you what's right or wrong or how to do it or how not to do it. A lot of people will tell you how to do drag, but that's how to do their drag.
Well, back in the beginning, a lot of people used to tell me that it was two different people. John and Joan were two different people. And I sort of listened to that. I didn't really comment on it much in the beginning, because to me, it's the same person, it's just different aspects of your personality. And I think in the beginning, drag for me did allow me to be a lot bolder than I normally would be, because it is kind of an armor, if you want to say that. But over time, you sort of integrate those two a little more. You just become more comfortable in your own skin.
Before I even started doing drag, I was very shy. Really shy, like stone cold shy. And then it really helped me get out of a shell, so to speak.
When you first start and now, it's very similar in the sense of there's a point in the process where you reach where, you know, your regular self fades away and then the other part comes out. And it's not necessarily that you become a different person or you sort of try to become something that you're not. It's just you tap into completely different characteristics of yourself.
Yeah, it's definitely a change. It's like you're putting on you're putting on a character.
I would be a little more outgoing when I'm dressed up than if I was just in street clothes.
And it's always fun and it's always liberating, and liberating is a really good way to describe it because it kind of freed us from like our regular selves and allowed us to do something completely different. It was like we were allowed to do anything we wanted to because we weren't ourselves.
It's a whole different experience. It's like putting on a mask and armor, and you get to be more bold, more outgoing, more extroverted, do stuff that you would never normally do.
For me, like, every time I do it, I'm able to express something about myself. So it's what I really try to channel is a lot, like, through a lot of my drag is, you kind of take the darkness that's inside of you and you put it on the outside and you make it beautiful and you make it a part of yourself. I say it was the best way that I can put it.
I'll never forget that feeling, the sound pressure of people yelling and clapping. I can feel it in my chest, and that's something I'll keep forever. I love that. That really, I had been doing it for quite a while at that point, but that just reinforced it even more, that I should keep doing what I'm doing.
And we're doing this to show people there's a different side of drag. And yes, it's fun. It can be fun. You don't have to walk around with an attitude. You don't have to put on airs. It can be fun. Lots of fun.
I keep doing drag because, like, it's wicked fun. Like, it's probably, like, the most fun I've ever had. It's like, like, you can create something with your hands, or your, visually, like a painting or a picture or a sculpture or something like that. Whereas with drag, you get to be the art itself, and it's like living that.
Everybody make some noise for Joan